Before I get started with the story, let me give a shout out to Dre Coop on Twitter for sending me this story. And this is actually a story that I should have done last, probably a month ago when I first heard about it, but I just didn't really care about it. But now I'm going to talk about what happened a month ago and what has recently come out about a week ago involving this same guy. So this guy's name right here, his name is James Whitfield, and he is a high school principal in the state of Texas. And about a month ago, he had faced some controversy, something that happened outside of the workplace with him and his wife. Now, his wife is a white woman, and I'm going to show you their pictures together in a second. But he had faced some scrutiny because of a picture, or I think one in particular, of a picture of him and his wife that they took. I'm not sure when they actually took it, but looking at the picture, it looks like an older picture, maybe before he became the principal of the school, or maybe it was around the time when they were probably dating, or maybe they were engagement photos. I'm not entirely sure what they were or when it was taken. But he actually got reprimanded because of these pictures, and or so he says. Now, some are saying that, well, he's saying that he felt it was a racial thing because his wife is white and he's a black man. And others are saying no, because it's the positioning and how the pictures were taken. And like I said, I'm going to show you in a second what I mean by that. But I'm going to go ahead and read this article that was posted on eurweb.com on September 2nd, 2021. Colleyville Heritage High School principal James Whitfield penned a lengthy Facebook message last month in which he detailed the day the district asked him to remove an intimate photo from his private Facebook page of James and his white wife. He's also catching heat from colleagues and parents for teaching critical race theory, which unpacks the root causes of racism and inequality in America. Well, like I said, I was going to read a whole nother article, but they just mentioned it for me right here in this article. That's the other part that came out a week ago about him allegedly teaching critical race theory. To me, it just sounds like they're just trying to find a way to get this guy out of the position that he's in. But the critical race theory issue came after the picture of him and his wife. It actually came out about a month later. So, like, in my opinion, I feel like they're just trying to get this guy out of there. That's what I feel. And then on top of that, he's in Texas. So you already know how they are down there. Apparently, a slew of parents complain about the interracial imagery, while students at the school have come to Whitfield's defense. Here's, it says Superintendent Robin Ryan announced Whitfield's suspension Monday in an email to parents, but not provide a reason for the decision. The Post reported Whitfield, who was the first black principal at Colleyville Heritage High School, that tells me all I need to hear right there, told the Post that he has been placed on paid administrative leave. I was not given any clear reasoning behind the decision and was not given a timetable regarding further steps, Whitfield said in a Facebook message. According to the Post, I was simply told that it was in the best interest of the district. In his August post, Whitfield recalled a phone call he received on June 27, 2019 about an anniversary photo of him and his wife that he shared on social media. Whitfield said an administrator called him and told him to check his email and wait for a callback. Per Whitfield's Facebook post, I checked my email and saw that what they were talking about. Before I describe the email, I just want to point out for those who haven't checked my profile, my wife is white. As I read the forwarded email, it said, "Is this the Dr. Whitfield we want as an example for our students?" And the picture attached was a picture of my wife and I kissing on the beach in Mexico during a trip we took for our 5-year anniversary. I showed my wife and I could tell she was already getting upset. Tears were welling up, but I was still awaiting the callback. When the phone rang again, I immediately picked up. Whitfield reluctantly obliged when the administrator asked him to take down a photo which showed him and his wife, Carrie, in an intimate pose on the beach. And like I said, I'm going to show you y'all, let me pause it right quick and I'll show you the picture that they're talking about. This is the picture that they're talking about right here. They made it seem like they were half naked or ass naked in this picture and it was nudity. They made a big deal out of this. Like he said, he got an email from a quote unquote administrator about that. Despite how many people may feel about, him being in a relationship, being with a white woman, what gives an administrator, quote unquote, the right to actually send someone an email about a picture that looks like that. We've seen worse. They made it seem like they were making an OnlyFans video. They made a big deal about that. Like I said, I personally believe or think that they're doing this because they want to get him out of the position that he is in. And they're using this picture and the fact that he's married to a white woman and that he's the first black principal at the school in the state of Texas and amidst all this whole critical race theory talk to get him removed. Like I told you, Dub S does not take a day off. Now, I will say this. There may be black people out there that may not be fans of interracial dating or interracial marriage or whatever the case may be. The most black people will do is either just deal with it or move around it. But to go as far as to pull something underhanded like this, I don't think we would ever go that far because it's not that deep. I'm looking at this picture and I'm like, what's the issue? Even the students came to his defense, but it's the parents and this so-called administrator who had a problem. So that lets you know. So see, in this instance, they saw him nothing more as an N-word and her no more as an N-word lover. Like I've always told you, history repeats itself and they're not far removed from their ancestors. But let me continue. As I got off the phone from my wife, sat there in tears. I tried to do my best to console her as we both tried to grapple with what just took place. He wrote, "We hid the photo. No one from above, quote unquote, ever mentioned anything else about it. But the damage was inflicted on us in profound ways. It was at this moment that I knew the attack that we currently endure was coming. There are numerous examples of these sorts of racist threats and statements directed my way. But I continue to take the high road and focus on my mission and purpose as nothing was ever done to alleviate or deter these threats on my behalf. When a social media concern is brought to the attention of the district, we have a responsibility to review it. Some of the photos the district received contain poses that are questionable for an educator, especially a principal or administrator. It had absolutely nothing to do with race. As a new campus principal, we wanted to provide a smooth transition for Dr. Whitfield to Heritage Middle School, which is why we advised him of the concern and made a request for the photos to be taken down from Facebook." You want to know what's so crazy? We live in a time where kids can choose to decide what they identify gender-wise. And if an administrator or a teacher says something out of line or what they deem to be out of line, they'll get reprimanded for it. That actually happened in one of these states. I never did a video about it, but it was some teacher who called this boy a boy when he tried to say that when the boy decided he was a girl, quote unquote, and they gave him the option to either be fired or resign. He chose to resign. Like, it's gotten to that point, but this right here and what you see on your screen, that was an issue for them. And this is an old picture. To my knowledge, this is a picture that's been on his Facebook profile for a while, but they dug it up to make a claim or to make a case. So this feels or sounds to me more personal than anything. Somebody out there wants him out of that position. They probably like, how dare this, you know what, come in here and think he's going to be the principal of this nice school. And on top of that, he's going to be married to and have the nerve to be married to a white woman and then think he's going to teach about CRT. Oh no, he's overstepping his boundaries. We have to get him up out of there. Because in their eyes, let's say he's a doctor. He's a black man. He's the first black principal at this school. He's married to a white woman. He has all the makings of what they would deem to be the uppity Negro. That's in their mind. That's what they formulated in their head. And they can't have that. And then on top of that, they said that the students are coming to his defense. So that means that the students like him. The students really care about him as a principal, as I'm sure he cares about them. But they are literally making a mountain out of a molehill with this one. It's pretty obvious. I think he knows it. He knows what's going on, but I think he's being a little bit PC about it because he knows that he's in the hot seat. But like, they're making a big deal out of nothing. Like, this is the picture right here that they are upset about. Like I said, we've seen worse on social media. And to my knowledge, I think this picture was always up there. So somebody found it. Because, on Facebook, they have something called memories. So what they'll do is if something comes around on that particular day, years later, like an anniversary, they'll pop up old images that were taken on that or placed on the Facebook site that day. I know I get them all the time from that particular day, from years ago on that day. And this picture probably popped up in the memories. And that's how they found it. And with him being a school principal, it's not hard to find. Let me see. In a statement to KXAS, the school district denied that racism played a factor. Of course they would deny it. It had absolutely nothing to do with race, the statement read. As a new campus principal, we wanted to provide a smooth... Oh, I already read that part. Whipple believes the issue was most certainly sparked by his race. I can no longer maintain my silence in the face of this hate, intolerance, racism, and bigotry. He said in a Facebook post, I am not the CRT boogeyman. I am the first African American to assume the role of principal at my current school in its 25-year history, and I am keenly aware of how much fear this strikes in the hearts of a small minority who would much rather things go back to the way they used to be. Well, I'm glad he asserted himself right there at the end, because at first I thought he was going to be completely politically correct about the situation. But yeah, I think they were definitely reaching with this point, and they're also using the CRT thing as a way. So it's almost like no matter what he says, they're going to come after and attack this guy. And him being married to a white woman plays, in my opinion, a part in this. I don't know what the situation would have been if his wife was, say, a black woman and they did the same exact pose. I don't know if they would have cared or if they would have said anything, if they would have not said anything at all. But I definitely do believe that they are reaching extremely hard with this. It's definitely personal. And when they say he was the first black person to be the principal at this school, I said, yeah, somebody wants him out of there. It's pretty obvious. It's blatant at this point. But I'm curious, like the comments for this one is going to be very interesting, because I already know I know my audience. I know how y'all are. But I'm just curious though. Do y'all think that, one, race played a part, two, him being married to a white woman played a part, three, him allegedly mentioning CRT played a part, or four, this is all just a reach on his behalf, in that the people who are above him have a right to be concerned? Like, if I want y'all to, like, really, before y'all go into the comments, because I know how you will get just on the face value, do y'all think that he has a legit right to be outraged about what's going on? Or do you think that the people who are above him have a legit reason to be mad about these so-called intimate pictures? Y'all let me know what y'all think.